Hey guys, thanks for joining me for episode 2 of Kerbal Space Program. Last time on episode 1 we built a rocket, we launched a rocket, we controlled it perfectly smoothly into a suborbital flight and made a smooth decoupling and then landed safely back on Kerbin. Jebediah is alive and ready for round 2, and hopefully you are as well. Alright guys, I made a few changes. I switched the order of the RCS and the SAS, and I changed this SAS to the Advanced SAS, which I have no idea what difference that makes, and I added additional SAS modules to the outside thrusters, and I fixed the problem with the decouplers. I realized the problem was in fact the rockets were partially merged with the decoupler, so even when the decouplers fired, they were stuck inside of the polygons of the rockets. So having moved them out and lined them up more properly, I suspect we will have corrected our issues, and I should probably make sure the RCS is lined up as well. Is that? No, still not quite right. There we are. That's good. Alright, I'm going to save the Aegis 1.7, and we're not going to change the name because we only made some minor modifications. It's still the Aegis 1.7, because it has 7 engines. If we change it to the 2.7, I feel like we'll do that if we have a significant design alteration, modification, and we haven't yet, so good enough. Alright, SAS on. 3, 2, 1, throttle up, ignition. Now that they're attached properly, there's a little bit more flex in the system, and the SAS is obviously working because these winglets are moving of their own accord. So hooray for Advanced SAS, or whatever Mr. Blaine here. Jebediah looks as happy as I am right now. My rocket is going in a straight line, and I'm not having to fight it for control while I wobble in horrible circles. That looks pretty good right now. Yes, break those right off. No longer carrying that dead weight. We got 3 more rockets to burn through here. Still speeding up and going up. Which, of course, you know, every minute, every second that goes by, everything kind of is working in my favor to go up here. Not only are we burning fuel and becoming lighter and having less to push, thus having less mass to accelerate, the atmosphere gets thinner. Every second we have less resistance, so everything kind of is in your favor. You got to use, like, at least my understanding of the space program is you got to use the vast majority of your fuel just to get out of the Earth's gravitational well, just to get into even low Earth orbit. Let's take a look at our orbit. Speaking of which, oh, that's moving along pretty nicely. Yeah, look at that thing climb. Let's see how far we get. We're going to run out of fuel in these rockets ever so shortly. We're going to have to rely on the final rocket to get us into an orbit of some kind. Let's go and lose those, and since we're still going up with quite a lot of speed, I'm going to take this opportunity to turn off the SAS, turn on the RCS, and turn us while trying to maintain that 90-degree flatness if possible, even though it's not really happening. And then turn back on the SAS and turn off the RCS and turn on the last thruster. That way we kind of get going into an actual orbit. I think I should maybe wait to throttle up until I'm a little bit closer to the apogee, or whatever the hell it's called, the apoapsis. The apoapsis, there we go. The apoapsis, because you have more of an angle to push. It's like a leverage, I think. I don't know that much about orbital mechanics. It just seems that if I'm up here when I do my burn, I'll get more out of it because I'll be farther from my initial point of launch. So that's pretty cool. I understand this game's physics are pretty spot on, so I'm gonna assume that that is the case, and assume that I have legitimately gotta follow the rules of real life if I want to accomplish anything here. Little boost. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer, just a little bit. Alright, we're getting close enough here. I'm gonna throttle back up and see where we end up. I'm not gonna go to full throttle, because this thing's moving pretty quick. I don't want this whole situation to get away from me. Suddenly be stuck without enough fuel to get poor Jebediah back. God, there's a fate. Be stuck permanently in orbit. Well, permanently insofar as the supplies and oxygen you have left. Let's maybe angle a little bit more toward the flat, because we're still angled a little bit up. I'm gonna get a little bit flatter here, like that. Ooh, nope, no drifting, no drifting. Kind of like that. Yeah, that's good. Turn off the RCS and kick back up the thrust. I'm kind of just playing this by ear, if you haven't noticed. This is the first time I'm going to have an actual shot at getting into actual orbit, I think. And my apoapsis is still climbing, and this circle is starting to look like something that might actually be in orbit. Come on, little ship, you can do it. Let's go, circle. Oh yeah, look at this. And we have orbit. Hooray! Oh, let's throttle down. Whoa, throttle down. Throttle down. Alright. We have orbit, ladies and gentlemen. We have a apoapsis of 372 kilometers, and we have a periapsis of 131 kilometers. So if I wanted to get that higher, I'd have to thrust coming from the other direction, because trying to fight free fall is like impossible. You need way more thrust to push this up from this side than you would going in from this side. You just speed into the highest point and you'd make this side go farther out. Well, that's a little bit of a wonky orbit. It's not too bad though. It's kind of almost flat. If I zoom out here, we see the orbit of the moon. The moon, M-U-N. My understanding is until recently that was the only body you had that you could land on. Now you have Minmus, an additional moon of Kerbal. Kerbin, I'm sorry, it's Kerbin is the planet. Kerbals are the people. And if we zoom out even farther, you see the orbit of Kerbal around the Kerbal Sun, which I guess is as of this time unnamed, the Kerbal Star. And there's all kinds of other planets, Moho and Eve and goodness, lots of stuff. And Jool, which looks like it's way out there. It'd have to be pretty big, I think, to be gravitationally bound at that distance. But zooming back in, all the way back in, wow, there's our orbit. I'm pretty happy with that. It's pretty stable. Pretty stable. So now, of course, because I can't leave well enough alone, and because we've still got some fuel left, I want to see what'll happen if I try to flatten this thing out. Like, you know, there's the moon orbit, and there's ours, which kind of is up and down, and if I wanted to get this flat, I'd probably have to do so at the, well, probably at the point I'm at now. I need to thrust up, or north. So, again, let's turn off the SAS, turn on the RCS. Does it say how much fuel I have? Oh, monopropellant. Yes, it does. Okay, cool. I have a ton of monopropellant left. Well, that's good. Is this up? Have I established that this is up? I can't even. I'm not entirely sure. Let's hit the SAS there, straighten us out. Thank you, Mr. Computer. I do appreciate it. Yes, tiny little thrust. And I think we're aimed up now. Let's do this gingerly, shall we? Can I thrust when I'm not actually in the thing? No, I can't. Okay. I want to increase our thrust just a little. Well, throttle up is shift, and as I tapped it a few times, I enabled what could only be called the stupidest damned feature in Windows, sticky keys. And it's not even so much that the feature is stupid, so much as the method of implementing it, which is tapping shift 5 times, and odds are pretty good you're going to do that in a game accidentally, pretty randomly, pretty often, so that was the curse that got me on that one. Luckily, this game does now have persistent objects, and so my craft and Jebediah still in it are still in orbit. Well, rest assured, I've disabled sticky keys forever. That was never a problem in Team Fortress 2 or any of those other games that prevent Windows from being in the way of the keyboard input, but unfortunately, Kerbal Space Program does not. So I'm going to click resume to save and see if maybe by some miracle I am still a flight in progress. Is there a way to go to my plane? Yeah, let's see, I've got Aegis 1.7 and pieces of something over here. I don't even know what that is. Let me just resume this flight. If that's possible. If that's a thing I can do. I'll be very pleased. Hey, look at this! We're back. And I'm only slightly perturbed my orbit while I was unable to see what I was doing. So, if I wanted to, for example, fix my orbit, let me see how I would do that. Ooh, the sun is bright. Well, we're probably actually at the right point to do it, and we'd want to aim up on the planet. So, turn off SAS, turn on RCS, get moving over there in that direction, and there we go. You know, your momentum just continues in space. There's nothing to stop it, so a little tiny puff will make you spin forever. Another reason why the SAS is so handy. It detects those tiny little motions via the gyroscope. Let me actually get a better look at where I am in relation to the globe. I kind of lose perspective on where the hell I am. I guess I should use this thing to better figure out which way I'm facing. Try to get it looking perfectly straight up, maybe like that. Oop. There we go. Oop. Perfect. Oh, that right on the dot. There we go. That's pretty good. I'm gonna go with that and just throttle up a little bit and see where we end up. I'm moving my apopsis. That is a hell of a word. Let's throttle that down. X? Yeah, X cuts off the engine. Okay, that's handy. Sometimes you want to cut that off in a hurry. Let's see, now I'm drifting. I should have turned the SAS back on is what I should have done. See, that doesn't look like I'm looking up, but I can't tell. Yeah, there we go. Now I'm looking up. Yeah, that's north. Okay. I'll just cheat and use the SAS. Try to straighten myself out. There's other RCS buttons as well, but I think they're just like low power mode. Or maybe they just go in specific directions. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, look at that. See, it's straightening right out. Yeah, if I look at the view from the side. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Cut the engine off. Now I just want to kind of land in one piece. That'd be good. We got quite a majestic view up here. Jebediah couldn't be happier. Pretty pleased myself, I must say. Right. Well, if I wanted to, let's say for the sake of argument, extend this orbit a little bit more on that side. I'd burn when I got closer to the apoapsis. Apoapsis? I need to memorize this word, apoapsis. Learn this word, brain. You're going to be using it. I'm not a pilot. I've never been one. I don't know how to read that thing. Like, right now I need to get flat. So, yeah. Let's, turn on the RCS. No, I don't want to go that way. I want to go kind of, yeah, like that, I think. Kind of like that. And then if I were to, say, throttle up just a bit, because I'm running out of fuel and I need to be able to land. I don't want to leave poor Jebediah stranded, but if did that. Yeah. The distance goes up, 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 up on the other side. And that would be an easy way to get that handled. But we need to land because we're almost out of fuel. I did not bring enough fuel to go any further than orbit and the moon. Or orbit and not the moon. I would like to go to the moon. That will be the next episode, I assure you. I know this game's been out for a year, and there's plenty of other YouTubers who have done this, and done this game very well. I became aware of their existence, of course, as soon as I became aware of this game. I looked it up on YouTube, of course I would, and saw there is a preponderance of really great guys doing really great commentaries, and I was like, ah, it figures. Every game has a great community these days full of people, and I need to turn around while I talk, and just kind of do a 180, just flip right over, and nullify that. And then do a... I'll turn on the SAS there and get flat, reasonably flat. And I'm going to throttle up and take a look at what we're doing on the other side. We should be reducing our periapsis. Ooh. Yep, we are reducing our periapsis. Also, I'm kind of obviously not flat because we're twisting the whole thing around, but you know what? That's not super relevant. Oh, we're going up again. That's relevant. That's not what we want. Okay, let's hit M and try to turn this thing around. Wow, we're like out of fuel. We're gonna freaking be stranded in space because I can't tell which way we're flying. There's no points of reference. Let's see here. I thought we were set up nice to stop, but then we stopped slowing down. What's that yellow circle? I don't know what any of this stuff means. What's that yellow circle? Let's go back to it. Stop. Nope. Go the other way. You there, green circle. What are you? What do you represent? I don't know. Okay. It would be helpful if there was somewhat more light so I could see the darned planet, but I guess we're on the dark side at the moment. Alright, once again, approaching our apoapsis. We want to turn our ship so that we are in a retrograde angle. No. Stop that. I think that should do the trick. So we should see a decrease in speed and a corresponding decrease in the periapsis. Yes. Okay. The only question now is, will we have enough fuel to save poor Jebediah? It's going down. So is that, though. Oh, the resources, they count down. We got another 20 seconds of fuel. It looks like we're gonna be okay. Jebediah, you're safe, Jebediah! Woohoo! Fantastic! Woohoo! That wasn't close. That wasn't skin of the teeth. Oh man, looks like everything's gonna be okay, buddy. You got a grin on your face. I'm very pleased as well. You know what we've got time for? We've got time for an EVA. Why not? I'm not gonna let go. That just seems like asking for trouble. But we are hanging out outside our spaceship. Look at that. There's the moon. It's a nice shot right there. There's our next target, the moon. We'll be going there before too long, I assure you. If I let go of this, can I get back on? Yeah, you only live once, right? It's we're nowhere near the atmosphere yet. Woo! We let go. I don't have any thrusters on me though. I'm just gonna grab back on now. And I'll board again. I guess I don't have a way to fly around. I can just let go. I don't have any ladders built or anything, so Jebediah is safely back inside. We have tons of fuel, just in case we needed it. Our giant rocket is headed back to Earth. It's not very giant, to be honest. Sorry, it's not Earth. It's Kerbal. Kerbit. The planet Kerbit. I will get this figured out eventually. You can tell because it says it. All you gotta do is hover over. No, it's not gonna even tell me. It tells me the other one. It tells me moon. It tells me pole and bop and lathe, val, whatever the hell all that is. Other planets, I guess, or something. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what it was. Other planets. Stuff is out there. But a little bit closer to our current concerns on planet Kerbit. Go ahead and speed up time a little bit. A lot of bit, okay. Get this nice shot of the upcoming sunrise, maybe? That'd be cool. Could dig it. Oh yeah, here we go. Let's just go with 5x. We will be landing on the light side, so it makes a kind of sense to see a nice sunrise on the way in. We are, of course, dropping like a rock. Now, there's the sun. In fact, that's pretty cool. It even reflects off the rocket. So nice. Gotta admit, this game looks pretty. It's not, you know, Crisis 3 graphics. It's not blow-your-mind Toad tessellation. But the atmosphere glowing on the horizon and all that's nice little additions. I guess we could play with the RCS now since our destination is kind of beyond my ability to screw up, to put it frankly. Ooh, there we go. There we are. Fair, might as well point this thing down and burn up the rest of our fuel, just for the sake of it. Whoa. Auto-saving, huh? Auto-saving takes a moment. So what is that yellow spot? Is that... Oh, is that like the perfect spot for a retrograde? That's where we're going. Yeah, okay. So the yellow spot is where we're going. So if I burned the last of my fuel right here, I would have a pretty good effect on moving the final spot. But I don't really want to move it any further in. If anything, I'd move it slightly further out into the ocean. Because when I hit the atmosphere, I'm probably going to come down right near the shore. And in fact, my goal should probably be to come down like right in these capes here for easy recovery, even though I don't have to actually worry about that in the game quite yet. They have added persistent object tracking, so that could be a thing anytime now. Let's turn off the SAS and try to point down in the hemisphere a little bit. That's not really what I wanted, but that's okay. Nope. Nope. Sometimes the RCS acts kind of flaky, for lack of a better term. Like, I want it to go... There we are. Point kind of downward. In fact, I can even see, I think, where I'm headed at this point in the process. You'd think one would be able to see the edge of where I'm going to end up. So let's try to aim a little bit into the southern hemisphere, shall we? And balance that out a little bit. Spin! I have lots of monopropellant. I could do this all day. I could do this till landing with no ill effect. See? Jebediah digs it. He's like, hell yeah, man, keep it up. I love spinning. It's like an amusement park ride. Apparently Jebediah is the crazy one from my experience in this game so far. It's been brief, but he's the only one who seems to always have a smile on his face. The other guys tend to freak out a little bit. Appropriately so, but they do tend to freak out a little bit. Nope, music's changing. We're no longer in space. Let's use up the rest of this fuel to push ourselves a little bit south. That was it. That was all we had left for push. So that was a good darn thing that we figured our asses from our heads when we did, or poor Jebediah here would have a fate worse than death, spiraling forever. Like we've maybe done to him just now. Nah, that's so close to the ground, it's gonna be fine. We're gonna be in the atmosphere. Heck, we could probably slow down with the RCS thrusters at this point because we're going to be in the atmosphere, so it's like already a sure bet that we're going to hit. Just to be on the safe side, though. I don't think it does us any harm to fire up these thrusters, these little tiny RCS thrusters, and just kind of push ourselves just a little bit. I still want to kind of land in the water if possible. Looks like that's a guarantee at this point. Ooh. It's so funny because the perspective changes which RCSs fire, so it's not entirely consistent. I'm glad I have 8 on there so that it's a little bit easier to guide my rocket here. Let's see if we're having any effect with that. Whoa. Yeah, we seem like we're probably going to hit the ground. Oh yeah, look at that. Getting shorter by the second. Wow. Alright, well, I think it's now as safe as time as any to separate to our final stage here. Let's get a little bit of rotational velocity so that we kind of fling the thing. Oh, we've got atmosphere, that's right. There we go. Goodbye, bottom stage. Woo, we almost got whapped by it, and that would have been bad. Yeah, we got atmosphere already, so goodbye, main body of the Aegis 1.7. See you later. And I'm going to end up pretty much right where I wanted to. I gotta admit, I was really freaked out when it looked like we increased the orbital trajectory enough that I was going to, like, not quite be in the right spot. But we're coming in at a good angle where we're probably going to get tons of air drag to slow us down, and I assume I didn't need to add a heat shield. I assume this has one built in, or that there is no such thing yet. I don't know if the game yet calculates that. There's many physics elements of landing a vehicle from space onto a planet that this game does not yet take into account, but I think in the long term it will, and it's pretty freaking awesome. I don't know when is the time to deploy the parachute. Is there a specific moment that I'm supposed to do it? Like, I think now is a good time to slow down, more so than we had been up to this point. And we're probably going to end up, like, right there on the shore. Like, if we splash down, it's going to be a shallow splashdown. Our G-force load is pretty acceptable. Barely experiencing 1 G of force. Of course, when the chute snaps open, it might be a little bit worse, but we're not going 1,000 meters a second or anything insane. Came in a nice, kind of slow trajectory. Seems like a totally survivable encounter with impact with the ground. I guess we could land on a mountain or something. There are mountains, too, and even the moon, I guess, has mountains now, and it did not initially. The Mun, M-U-N. I see that I want to say Mun, M-U-N. At least all our sequences of events kind of happened properly. And last time it popped open at like 500 meters. Will it do the same this time? Yep, in fact, exactly 500 meters. And nothing broke and snapped and fell into pieces, and everything's great. And we're going to be on the shore. We're not quite in the water, so it's not a splashdown like we aimed for. I was kind of aiming for like right in that vicinity there. Kind of in the bay, you might say. But let's drop a little bit quicker, shall we? I like the time speed up element. I suppose that'd be really necessary if we get into extraplanetary exploration. Some of those trips could take the real-life equivalent of months, I would imagine. So we're not in the water where I aimed. We're pretty close, though. That's an awfully narrow margin for error. But guess what? We're landing on the nice soft beach. Ka-thump. Yep, totally fine. Jebediah is fine. Circled the Earth a few times. Barely made it back alive. He's a happy camper. Yeah, Earth. Kerbit. Gosh, Kerbit. It's like, God, Kerbit. I'll start using that one, Kerbit, instead of damn it. It's pretty funny, I think. Anyway, that's definitely the end of that flight. Pretty short list of things that happened. Nothing went wrong, is why it's such a short list. Oh no, it's because the crash cuts off everything from the beginning. Just when I went on my little brief EVA, my 12-second EVA, or whatever it was. Anyway, I suppose that makes a good first episode, a long first episode for that matter, but maybe I'll split it into 2 episodes for the sake of it, because my god. Yeah, next time we'll build a bigger rocket. Next time I want to play with that multi-coupler, whatever the hell that thing was called. Yeah, the bicoupler? That looks... Oh, wait, what's that? A tricoupler. So, like, maybe stacks of 3 instead of Oh yeah, I see good things in the future. Anyway, join me next time. Thank you so much for watching. Do like it if you liked it, and I will catch you next time. Peace.